Peace be to you all. Happy Friday to you, Juma Mubarak. Just doing my Friday jog. Not fast enough to call it running anymore, but I thought I'd go back to mixing running and my profession, which is medicine. So I'm passionate about both, and running is a form of therapy for me. But I wanted to talk about, the school shootings and the issues with mental health, and men in particular, young men in particular. So there was yet another school shooting, if you're following the news, and this was a young man in St. Louis, 19 years old, and I have a bad habit of scrolling through the comment section. I shouldn't do that. I'm trying to break the habit, but a lot of silly racist comments. That's how black guys do. That's natural way. There's a black young man that he shot his classmate and teacher. But then there was this young man who's 16, Crumbly, I believe his name is. He shot up his school when he was, I think, 14 or 15. And so, this thing was shooting. Race is really not part of it. Now, where I'm from, in D.C., there's a lot of so-called gangbangers, keeping it real niggas, quote unquote. But those guys have mental health issues. I've taken care of some of them in the hospital. Their fathers left them or are abusive to them. They got started with drugs very early in life. A lot of them have older brothers who got them into banging, as one guy was telling me, one brother. So this thing with young men having these unaddressed mental health issues and acting out violently, it transcends race, and even in some cases socioeconomic class. It bothers me when I hear people make it a race issue, but it's really mental health. I've had grown men in my office sobbing because they were never able to address issues of when they got raped as kids. Some by family members even. Or they grew up in a highly abusive household, and it was really deleterious to their mental health, and a lot of them turned to drugs to try to assuage that bipolar or depression or post-traumatic stress that they have. Not all of them take the medications that clinicians like myself prescribe. It doesn't always help. To be quite frank with you, I'm starting to think differently about medications and prescriptions, especially when it comes to mental health. I used to take some of my patients when I had more time. I would take them for walks through the woods, and they were like, wow, this is really nice. I feel so at peace. So, I wanted to use that as therapy. That was always one of my goals for my own practice. It's not cost effective though, but I really want to do what I can to help men, young men in particular. And I know we have a lot of debates now, unfortunately, about what gender constitutes what and characteristics and things of that sort. I don't even want to get into that, but I can tell you as a man, person who identifies as a man, and raising 3 sons, 2 of whom are young adult men, 18 and over. Youngest is 14, 22, 18, and 14. I tell them, I says, listen guys, if you have any issues at school, or at your workplace, please talk to me. I'm not going to call you a sissy. I'm not going to chide you for crying or getting upset. Come on, man. Got to hold that stuff together. Little punk. book such and such. And that's why a lot of these guys keep it in, because we're not, as a society, if a man cries, there's something wrong with him. He's crazy, or, you know, a sissy, quote unquote. Unfortunately, this is guy, Dr. Jordan Peterson, who cries quite frequently in his interviews, and I applaud that. I think we need, as men, we need to be able to express more of our sensitive emotions, the things that bother us. You know, it's not a woman-like characteristic. What's up, brother? How you doing? Good. But, you know, I want to do what I can as a clinician and healthcare provider to try to do something to address these unmet needs of our young men, because there's one shooting after another, and this young man in St. Louis did try to get help, and somehow he fell out of help. I've had patients, especially with this COVID era, patients who told me that they just stopped going to their therapist. And even this poor kid, Crumbly, was shot. I say poor kid because he didn't get the help he needed, and he was in his journal where he's actually talking about killing people. He was saying, like, something's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? And it's so sad. This guy, Daryl Brooks, he apparently had mental health issues. But you could see the horrible damage that these guys enact upon their families and communities, you know, and us as the public. But that's it for now. I wish you guys the best of success in your positive endeavors. What do you guys think can be done about mental health? I would say among men in particular, young men in particular. Take care. Peace.